Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Shout out to everybody that's checked the course. I keep saying it because people keep going there and buying the course. That's great. Also, shout out to everybody that's subscribed and everybody like Dominic here asking questions. So without wasting too much time, first question came in this form. How do you determine when to start a new table? Okay, so if I do it this way, just get my pen for my working tablet, and if I can choose how do you change the thing? I think it's, what am I trying to look for here? Actually, it's a crop tool. What am I looking for? See, it's in here somewhere. There you go. Right, so if I do this, hit enter, and that's not what I wanted, but let's work with me here. So if I choose VMW, select that, delete that, Control D to deselect. One cool little thing that I found out was you can actually go to, if you want to get white color behind this, there's two ways you can do it really. You can just, double clicked. You can just click Command or Control, and then that pops this layer down, and then because over here white is on top, I can just basically use Alt backspace and that fills it in. That's essentially what I want to do. But another way to do it would be to go on this layer and go to File. Here's a file. Edit, Fill. I don't know if you can see it, probably is off screen. And then if you do Edit, Fill, and then you do background color. Wait, which one is it? Whoa. Oh, behind. Actually, with background color. Let's try that. Fill it behind, so that should do that. Although I don't want white. Oh, foreground, so it's determining these colors. Yep, sorry, we're kind of working it out here, but I just saw somebody do this. So yeah, so into the background here, I do foreground. Let's see what happens. Boom, does the same thing, but it puts it on the same layer, so it's kind of like destructive. So if I move around, it's moving the whole thing now. But if you didn't want it that way, obviously you can control the layer that way. Thought I would just share that. I don't know why. So delete that one and just, this is maybe the question layer. All right, so we got everything in there, but yeah. All right, so I'm gonna hit another new layer. So obviously my response to be, if I can just do this. So my response to basically this question was to say that obviously you start off, make the hardness 100%. So my response to that, probably whilst we're at it right now, let's just get a new color here. Just go something more cool, like a blue. All right, so my response was, obviously you start off with a HTML tag, right? And then a HTML tag is closed. All right, so we all know that part. And then inside the HTML tag, you got the body tag, right? Cool. But and then body tag gets closed down here. All right. I'm gonna do this. All right, yeah, body tags get closed down there, and then within the body, before I delete that, within the body in here, that's where all the magic happens. So what I'm gonna do is do it this way, and then do it on this layer. So now table tag, boom, table, right? And then you close your table. All right, so you open your table tag, you close your table tag, cool. And then next you open a table row, right? All right, and after you open your table row, you gotta close it as well. Table row, right? So this is the structure of creating a table, essentially. And different color, boom. And then after that TR, you have to remember to open a TD. And then after the TD, you got to remember to close it. Okay, data cell. Okay. And then all the content happens in here. Okay? All the content happens in there. But if I crop out again, maybe move that way. And if I hit enter and V on the keyboard and come back to this layer and do a backspace. Yeesh. Okay, that's better. And then yeah, on here. So basically what I'm saying is there are times obviously when you can just literally, if we say for example have, let me use a different color like pink for contrast. So basically in here, for example, right, say you wanted to add an image tag, you know, like a banner image. So you can just come in here and do your image tag, right? And how about we do it this way? So you can just come in here and do your image tag, right? And img source equals, in quotes, you put in your path in there, the width of the image. All right, so in this TD, it's gonna literally hold like an image tag, which would be something which looks like this. Okay, because you've put in an image tag. Whoa, image tag. Okay, so obviously this TD, all right, the green bits, they are holding content, and in our case they are holding an image. Okay, follow me here. I know it's pretty dull, but you get it. So that's one way of doing it. You know, like for example, it's just holding an image tag. Okay, nothing complicated. We just want the TD to hold an image tag. Cool. What if we wanted to have an image tag in here? We want to have an image tag. Okay, and then 2, you also want to have like text plus CTA. Okay, all right. So now we go from we've got an image tag. Cool, that works fine, no complications. You just stick an image in there, that's fine. But now when you actually want to get more complex, like for example, you want to have an image tag here, and you want to have some text here, and you want to have a button somewhere there. So you have an image, and then you have like a heading, and then under the heading you probably have something like a button. Okay, so now you now have like, you went from being simple, which one is it? Yeah, you went from being simple to just having a TD with an image tag to now having a TD which contains 1, 2, 3 elements. All right, 3 elements, right? So this becomes difficult to sort of like manage and control properly if it's within 1 TD. Okay, this becomes so difficult to manage and control if it's within 1 TD. So when it's difficult, it's because essentially what you want to do is have TDs that can actually contain the 3 elements. So you want to have like orange maybe, yeah, somewhere there. So you want to have like 1 TD that holds the image, 1 TD that holds the heading, 1 TD that holds the button. All right, So essentially, for you to do this, all right, for you to do that, you have to remember that here your setup is limited because of course you have a table, which is great. You have a table row, which is great. You have a TD, which is great. But now the problem is you only have one data cell. Okay? You only have one TD cell. Because you have to remember, like, if I have one TD, that means I just have one little cell like this. If I have two TDs, then I have to like split this whole block in half. So that means I got 1, 2. So now I got 2 cells. Okay, so at the moment I only have this one because I've got one TD. So if I have one TD, that means if I want to have an image, I have to stick the image in there. Somehow I have to stick the heading in there, and somehow I have to stick the button in there as well. So everything is squishing in here, and it's very difficult to manage. So whenever the situation and the case is like that, what you end up needing to do is to nest. So essentially nesting is for more complicated stuff, you know, it's for basically anything that you feel is a little bit more complex, that you need to control much easier on different email clients. You have to nest, you know. So this scenario of having just one TD is good if you just got one image tag in there, right? But when you're now having to have the image and then underneath you want a heading in there which says, you know, some heading, you know, some H1 heading, and then underneath the heading you want like to have a button, you know, or whatever layout, it's got many elements. Now you need to consider nesting, you know, so that you have to have a TD for this, a TD for that, and a TD for that. All right, so let's go to this nesting business. What are we talking about? So for you to achieve this kind of setup is to then now create a table within here. So within here, you create another table. So here we got this one table, right? Now we need to bring, do you know what I'm gonna do? Wait, let me see where that is. Right, what I'm gonna do is duplicate that. And let me do it this way, and then I'm gonna go Command C, shrink that in. Ooh, okay, not exactly working to plan, but you know, you sort of get the idea. So in here, sheesh, I'm sorry, but you kind of get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, just as we have this outer table, right? Now we have within, you nest a table within a TD. So obviously this is why I've put this whole table thing within the TD, right? So now that we've nested this table within the TD, what we can do is this. This particular, I know it's blurry, sorry. This particular bit here, this row, right? This whole section here will be the one which contains, say for example, the hero image that we were talking about, the banner, right? That spans the whole way. All right. And then we duplicate this row. This row, we duplicate it under, okay, so that we have another table row. So we got one row, all right, which is holding the hero. The second row, which we duplicate this row, will be now holding the heading. And then the third one will be the button. Yep, I'm writing over everything, which is just great. So yeah, so basically it's you nesting. You have your main table out here, and then within the TD, you're actually adding like a whole new table section. And then within that table section, what you are now doing is adding rows within the table that you've nested. And that's just how you do it. So practically, can we achieve this? So yeah, that falls into the second question he was asking, the follow-up, because I did reply with kind of like, I thought what he meant here was like, how do you set up a table? So when he followed up here, it's like, hello, I suppose my question is, how do you know when to nest the table for the next section? So this is essentially what I'm saying. How do you know when to just start a new row without having to nest the table? So you have to look at your design. So maybe if I go into this layout, so essentially you're looking at your design, right, that you have in front of you. Like in one TD, this banner that you're looking at, if I wanted this one banner to be an image, for example, like, yeah, I can just come in here, close that off. I can just come in here, I can just come in here and add that banner in here, right? But if, say for example, your manager or the person that's giving you the task or your client says to you, I don't want this to be a banner, I want it to be live text, as in, if I put in a like here, I want this to be that text to be live text, I want this button to be live clickable text, and I want this to be like its own image. Now you can't just come in here and do this and have a TD set up this way. You would need to then create nesting so that you can accomplish this design. Okay, hope that makes sense. So can we try it? Of course we can try it. So I have this bit here which says image link. That's just a hosted version of this image, basically. Yeah, so yeah, just so that you know, but don't really need it there. I'll need it when I need to use it in Dreamweaver, basically. So let me go into Dreamweaver quick. So as you can see, nothing is in here in Dreamweaver. It's just a blank slate. So I would start off obviously by adding a table. Let me see if I got my keys set up. Yep. Add a table in there. Okay. Come out of this. Okay. So as you can see, all right, I'm gonna nest the table as well. That might be another question, like, why are you nesting the table? It is because if I put an X in here, look at this. The X is appearing at the very far left, but normally, as you know, emails are centered. So for me to get that centering, I need to nest another table and give it a width of whatever. So 650, for example. Let me work with 600, like round numbers. Okay. And then you see this blue outline is determining the email. So basically the email is going to grow within that kind of width range. By the moment it's left aligned because that's the default. But if in here I do align center, it pushes it centered now. If I refresh. So it pushes it to the center. So this is also, you know, nesting. So you got the outer table, which is the whole width. And then to get the centered table, you give it a width and you center it, and then you get that. But back to the tutorial. So for example, now we got that in there. Let's say we are splitting this table into two. All right. So what we will then do is I can say 1, and then that's 1 TD. So for example, what I was trying to explain earlier, say if I do image tag and I do http://viewer.placeholder.com/, what is it, 600 by 200, 300. So yeah, now this 1 TD can work beautifully like this. Okay, yeah, we'll do something like and text equals banner. Okay, so yeah, so this can work beautifully if I'm just having like one image. But if I wanted to do like heading, yes, it's coming underneath there, but I would need to do something weird, like do span, then in here maybe give it like style of font size, let's say 32 pixels. See what else, padding top, let's even see if that works. Padding top, do some like 20 pixels, separate the banner from the text. Let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, it's like I said, very strange stuff. I can't really control this span. It's got padding. You can see the boxes grew into the image, but it's kind of, even the font size didn't do right. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there you go. So yeah, font size is there. Padding top is kind of still not, maybe it's because I haven't put the line height. Yeah, I've never done it like this, so it's kind of like, whoa, not best practice at all. So I could do 40 pixels line height. That might do it. I don't know what I'm doing there. Right, so you kind of have something. If I do text align center, let's see what happens. Does it actually center? Okay. Did I type it correct? Yeah, that is definitely not centering. Line height, etc. Paint top. Yeah, it's not your easiest way of like managing the whole thing. And then obviously if I wanted a button now, that's even a mystery now. How do I put the button in there? It don't have to be like an image where I just slap in like an img tag and just say let me just copy this for ease. Copy that, paste that in there. This is just strange, man. 100 by 50 ish. Maybe in here I'll do something like BR tag. Does that even do it? Okay, maybe 1 will do it. Push it to the next line. And then here I'll call the button. Please don't ever build your emails like this. This is terrible. So this is kind of how you're doing it. If you're not nesting things, it's difficult to control the spacings and stuff like that. Say for example, I had a paragraph under the heading bit. I would have to say Laura. Okay, let me do this first. BR tag, and then in here I'll do Lauren. Okay, so we kind of have something happening. I'm not saying that doesn't convey a layout. I'm not saying that doesn't actually help you out there in terms of like just constructing something, I guess. But it's difficult to control the spacings. It's a whole mess, to be honest with you. So yeah, this would not work. in my opinion. This is the worst. You can't do this. So nesting would have to like be done here, otherwise you're just gonna have like an image, and then you're gonna have a span for the heading, and you're gonna have a BR tag within there. It's just, yeah, looking a lot messy. And the other fact of the matter is, when you're building emails, what you end up doing is you're building to cater I couldn't say thousands, but you can catering a lot, like in the hundreds. There's always an email client and a mobile device that's popping up with a, email rendering engine that's kind of like, something else. So if you're building it in such a way that is like this, which is not good practice, you will definitely see one email client that opens your email, throws this button over there. This text will probably be at the top. The banner would probably be maybe something crazy. So at the end of the day, you're actually, not helping yourself, because people will end up opening this email and it will look like, whoa, what the hell is this? Because it's not showing up properly, it's not rendering properly. So this is why nesting comes about. And I know nesting is a tricky thing to master. Let me just get rid of that, because that is not how we do it. That's not even in the course, by the way. If you've watched the course, you know we don't do that. So that's why nesting is a bit tricky, but once you master it, do it a few times, build a few example emails, do a couple training on different templates and stuff, you kind of get it. So it's good to get, because once you get it, then you're building emails the right way. So having said that, go back to Dreamweaver, just have a refresh of what we kind of trying to aim for here. I'm not going to make it responsive. I'm just going to lay it out, because the key thing is to nest, and I don't want to make this video longer than what it is already. It's extremely long now, but hey, we move. So now, so we've set a width, and then now what we're going to do is, this is number 1, okay? And if I come in here, I can copy that, paste that under, just move that back with a backspace, maybe space bar, just to make it line up. So now this becomes number 2, okay? And I can get, since this is 600, so you do your maths quick and you say half of 600 is, you can comment it in the comment section, feel free. Width equals 300. All right, so basically I would do width 300, which means section A has got its own width. Maybe if I do BG color pick something like just just that would do. Okay, and then you got BG color this side, just so that you can see what I'm working on, what I'm working with. Yikes, what's a good color? Maybe somewhere there. Right, so you got section 1, section 2, right? So now we need to nest, right? Don't worry about the colors. The colors are just so that you see. Let me click away as well. Maybe I'll click T. Trying to get rid of the whole blue thing. Anyway, so you got section 1, section 2, right? Because of our TDs. But what are we trying to go for? Is this layout, isn't it? So we've got this image. Matter of fact, let me bring that image. So I'm gonna copy that text. And obviously it's on the right side, so I have to put it in number 2 here. So that was just a placeholder. I don't need to, in this one, I don't need to nest, because it's just an image. You're just going to take the whole space. So I'll just do image tag. The source was that image, and I'm going to give it a width of 300. Width of this is what it used to get me in the first days, like width, but yeah, you get it. So width 300, okay. Height, you can say auto, or just leave it like that, that's cool. Or you can just do style auto, yeah. But a good attribute to have on the image tag is display block. and border none. All right, so that if it's a link, there's no blue line around it, like Outlook or something like that. So we've got a nice looking little image there. What else? Let me see. You know what? It's not really gonna look pixel perfect because this is like 800 width, and we work. Yeah, you can see 800. So we're working with 600. So we're gonna make our layout work on a 300 to 300 ratio. Okay. So now we need some text like that and a button like that. So go back to Dreamweaver, and now in this bit is the lesson, the moment everyone is waiting on. Just gonna have a little drink, and guess what drink I'm having? Very nice. So yeah, the lesson is here now. All that run I was doing, hopefully you picked out a little something from that run. So yeah, there was something in there, because obviously a lot of doodling on Photoshop, but there was something in there. So if you haven't caught it, you can watch it over and over until you get it. But this is the practical bit that I was trying to run with. So we got a TD, okay, and then in the TD, all right, we come here and we put a table. Okay, so if I come out, indent that back so that it lines up, because you know, if you see the way it was before, it was like up here. Look how odd it looks this is why indenting is also a big part. So you have to learn that trick. Okay, indent back. Okay, so now we've got two cells. We've got this cell. Okay. You can put comments in here too. Don't be afraid. You can put something like left cell, something like that. Then you close your comment, and you can also do something like copy that. And then come here and say left cell ends, you know, something like that. Just to give yourself a little information or somebody else that's gonna pick this up. Okay, and you know, you do the same for this cell if you want it, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, or just whilst we're on the subject, you can cut it out, put it right on top, just so that it's on its own line, which is actually much better. And then on here, I'll put it on its own line. So now you know that this whole magic that's gonna happen on the left side is gonna happen within here. Okay. What else can you do? You can also comment, like, just, you know, there's no limits. Feel free. Left cell nest. The table starts, and then you can copy it, put it under the table to say this is the table that's gonna hold everything. All right. So this won't really help me because I know what I'm looking at, but if somebody else was to pick your document, I suppose it can make more sense. Like, oh yeah, that's where the nesting is starting. Oh, that's the left section is starting there, right? Okay, I get it. So yeah, that's probably why we use that. Okay, but yeah, just what I put it out there. But anyway, so you got a TD which is 300, and then in there is 100%. Great, that's good. That means this table is actually 300% at the moment, so it's like pushing right to the edge. Okay, which is great. Next up, look at the design again. Okay, so the table itself has got a little bit of gap here, and I guess you can call it a little bit more gap here from the image. All right, so let's say gap here. So okay, so let's do that. So some people would use padding and all that stuff. I'm personally not a fan of padding left and right because that kind of messes layouts somewhere somehow on different email clients. So how do you achieve that same kind of layout? Yeah, you would have to do something like this. So if I give this 90 and I do align center here, that would do something. Or alternatively, let me keep it 100 and save that and add in all the contents so that you actually see what's happening. So in here, we've nested this table. Remember, we've nested it within the actual TD because we want to create a complex layout. The complex layout being this bit here, text and the button, okay? And then also we've got a gap underneath the text and the button. So obviously this is something you can't really do with one cell, okay? So now we've nested our table. In here, we want to add in a heading. So let's just do that. And then we do lorem, maybe, yeah. And then that text is just going to count as my heading. I'm just going to come in here and do style, font size. Ooh, okay, helps to be able to type sometimes. So I could do 30 pixels, line height 36 maybe. Let's go for that. Okay. What else? What else? Oh, another little cool tip. If you want these words to, okay, wait, before I do that. You see how this is only by itself on the next line here, but I want the both of them to like be down here together, if yeah, something like that. You can do this and type and not breaking space. So now you got both of them down here. That's just a little hack. Comes in handy if you don't want like words to just wrap around by themselves. So thank me later, it's fine. So yeah, so we got that there. What else we need? I think for now that's cool. Oh, I can actually do something else. Like, you know, you do all the things like font, family, just do Arial. Is that even how you spell Arial? Yeah, that is. And then you do what did I want? Font weight. You can call it bold if you want, or 500 used to work nicely as well. But you know, we're gonna go bold, which is a bit darker. All right, fine. And then so because we've nested this table, we have an ability to create another row. So we got this row. Okay, that's what I was talking about in the doodling on Photoshop. So we can copy this row, okay, and paste it here. Now we got 2 bits in there, but it's not easier. Like for example, I'll give you an example. If I wanted to make this like 14 pixels, and then maybe 16 or maybe 18. Okay, and then font weight normal. Okay, we got something like that. And how do we control the gap above and below? We're gonna do a little padding bottom of something like 10 pixels. Boom. So now we're controlling space much better here because we can control the elements much better. But you know, I think it would be better if we had like the bottom. Boom. It's a lot of copy. So we get rid of some of the copy. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I'm alright with that. Just so that things fit properly as well. I'm just gonna drop this to 24. Line height 28 maybe. Okay, because I'm aware there's a button coming. Maybe padding bottom, we're gonna do 5 just so that things are not so far apart. Okay, you know what? So that things don't wrap around, because I don't want that button to kind of look awkward. I mean, these are things you can talk about with the designers and, you know, the campaign managers to say, you know what? I think there's too much text going on here. Is it possible to just drop stuff down? And also because you can see that it's centering, maybe you want it to be at the top. So you can do here V align top, V line top. So now it's pushed up to the top. But you can also do something like padding top in here of So sometimes when you type padding top and it doesn't show up, it means you've typed it in correctly. But I just wanted to get a little 10 pixels at the top here. So like I said, I'm okay putting padding top and padding bottom. To push it from the edge, I would not use padding, you know, because yeah, it just does some weird things in some email clients. So I'd rather stick to this little technique that's coming up shortly. So yeah, we got TR there. Create another TR for the button. Okay, another moment to nest is in this particular moment. So you know, it's just happening by itself, and I'm hoping it's answering a lot of questions that we need to like create this button, and this button is literally like this little thing. And yeah, so you know, it's complicated. So you know, to be able to achieve that, you need to nest. Why is it complicated? Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm just gonna have to do it. Let me just doodle it. So basically, if you, this TD basically is spanning 100%. Okay. So which means this TD is going all the way from edge to edge. And that's why you have your paragraph running from here and wrapping around, running from here and wrapping around, because it's wrapping around the whole width. So now if I wanted to add in a button, wrong layer, carry that out. All right, something like that. Yeah, T. Right, cool. So if I wanted to add a button, say here, right? Look how small this button is. If I just randomly plug in that button without nesting, that button is gonna actually stretch itself to the edge, because it's gonna follow the 100% flow. So for me to get this small little thing, okay, in my case, because it's not an image, so obviously, yeah, but if it's live HTML, basically to achieve that button, I have to nest, and then the nested table is going to receive a width, you know, of whatever you want the button to be. So that's why I'm nesting. All right, so let's go back to Dreamweaver. And we are going to click here and click here, and obviously depends if you want it left aligned, you can just leave it like that. Then I'm going to nest the table within there. Very simple button. There's nothing complicated about it. I'm just gonna go like click me. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, you know what, since I'm feeling like it, okay, so this maybe 200 pixels. That'll be too big because it's $300, so maybe 150, can be halfway. And then we give it a BG color of, just make it black as it was, and 0 0 0 0 0, and they're gonna do style. Okay, matter of fact, if I come in here, make this a link, okay, something like that. I can do style, and then I'm gonna do color is equal to weight, pound sign, where is it? 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, and then that makes that weight text. Decoration, none. All right, so that makes that. Then text align center, maybe, let's see if I do it in here. Right, and then, so what I can do is two things. Actually, I can do it in here, style, do padding. So let's do 12 pixels top bottom, 20 pixels left and right. Yep, something like that. And then we'll do padding top, style, padding, padding, yikes, padding top is equal to something like 15, maybe, go 12. Okay, and the button is a lot chunkier than I thought it would be, so maybe I'll do 10. And so the border radius has to happen on here where the color is, so I'll do style equals, yikes, border to get the round in on the edge. 10 pixels maybe. Refresh. Maybe more than that. Just wait here. Refresh. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, as you needed to nest this table within this cell, because for you to do this whole stuff in here, you couldn't do this if you didn't have nest. You can't just come here and click me padding and all that stuff without all this. So that's where this comes in handy. For the last little bit, couple last little bits, go back to Photoshop. This tab, I can do the color picker thing by pushing I on the keyboard, getting the color, double click, copy, just getting rid of that background that I put. And you see that's blue, I need to get rid of it so it matches, because obviously that was just for fun. And it's kind of like gelling nicely now. I can come into the other bit. I really don't need that. Yeah, get rid of that. And this is not responsive. Yeah, you see. But yeah, this is not a responsive video. But I really have put out a lot of content on the YouTube channel, basically other videos everywhere on here, basically showing responsive stuff in an easy way. But this was just to show you why I'm nesting. And I think I've gone through sort of 3 phases of explaining nesting, like one being this click button, the second being this one where I needed to nest the actual table for the section, and the other being the 100% table, which is outside, and then I needed to put in the 600 nest to center the whole thing. So you can imagine your view online links are up here, your unsubscribe buttons are down here, and you got a little button here, and people come, they click, boom. And on mobile, what will happen is you could maybe switch it that the image goes on top and the text goes under, and or text on top, and all kind of responsive stuff that you can do, still maintaining crisp looking text. This is one of the reasons why people opt for making it all live HTML and actual live text over like using like images and stuff like that, because images also like carry weight. So when someone is downloading an image with their smartphone, their 4G, 5G, whatever, could take a little bit of time, some few seconds, and they could be not seeing images and they would just probably not be interested and go away. But live text always shows. That's why. But yeah, like I said, a couple of things. So the one thing was to make the side yellow so that it blends with this side. Hang on a second. This color was a gradient, because I am seeing something here. This color, this color and that color, that color, that color. Ooh, okay, cool. I think it's the same color, but for me, it's looking like it's a bit more orange on this side, and the image is something else. You know what? It's cool. It's probably the way I saved it anyway. But it should match essentially if you're actually exporting it. The last little thing I was going to show on this long video of explaining something simple, but it needed to be explained, I feel, in this way, because just a lot of little things, but again, this text is touching the edge, and if you don't want it to touch the edge, the technique I was talking about is coming in here and putting like 90%. And then what you want to do is actually on here, you push in align center, And then if you see, that's going to push it in a bit without using padding. So obviously you can control it a bit more depending. You can say something like 80, which is kind of small. Yeah, see, things start to push away from the edge. Maybe you realize, oh, I want this to fall together on the same line, and you do end on breaking space, bam. Then you got your two words touching there, which is great. So at the top, you got your little 10 pixels things going. By the bottom, you don't have it, so you might need to come in here, get rid of that actually, and just do like 0. All right, so there you get that as well. And then you see it's not lining up. It's because you got a BG color of this here. Copy that over to this bit here. And then refresh. That is still not showing. Let me see, this bit here is the image. Oh, I put it somewhere else. Okay, I was supposed to go there. One thing that I'm noticing is, so for this section to really work great, you need to just get rid of some of the copy. It's all down to the copy stuff. You know, the more copy you have, the more things look awkward and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll just be down to that. But pretty much that's it. I pasted this somewhere. So if I double click, you can see where I pasted. Okay, I didn't need that there. Okay, still fine, nothing happened, but yeah, I just don't need it there. So there you go, guys. I hope you learned one or two things. You know, I try to talk over and over, sometimes repeating certain things just deliberately so that, you know, you kind of, you know, reinforce the learning process. But essentially this is why we nest, and I couldn't really put this in a comment. I felt like it was just better to do a video. So yeah, thanks again for, you know, asking this question. I am sure somebody else is benefiting from this video. If you knew that is, but obviously if you know it already, hopefully it kind of gives you a refresher, a new perspective on nesting, and you know, I hope you catch one or two things in there. So I thank you for watching, and I will again see you on the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching to the end. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button. It really helps. Thanks.